Hello, hello, hello. I hope you are well. I am today not in the office. I'm on location in London. I'm at the podcast show in London. Um, some of you may know that I am a podcaster. I run the Career Changemaker podcast, and it's always good to connect with other people who are in the similar space and learn about what's going on. And so I am at the podcast show in London and learning lots. Connecting, networking, and all of that jazz. But I did want to jump on and talk to you about vision, and so I'm jumping on. If you are listening live and you can't hear me, let me know in the comments. If you're catching the replay, hopefully the sound is okay. Um, so why do I want to talk about your vision? Oh, before I do that, if this is the first time that you're catching one of my live streams, my name is Janine Esperand. I am a career strategist and an executive coach, and I am super passionate about helping people to position themselves for the opportunities that they desire and that they deserve, through being intentional about their career development strategies. So let's talk about vision. So in the work that I do with various people, one of the things that comes up often is people feeling like where they are now is not where they want to be or where they want to go, but they're not sure how to make a transition or whether they should make a transition. And what I know to be true is that many people set the vision for their career and set the vision for where it is they want to go quite early on. And then they feel as though they have to be stuck to that vision. They feel as though they have set the vision, they've started on a certain path, and because they've started on that path and they've been on that path for some time, they have to continue. And whilst it may be true that having a goal and being committed to the goal makes sense and is a good thing to do, it doesn't always make sense for the long term. So if you are somebody who's in the stage now where you're thinking, okay, I know I've been on this path for a while, but this isn't necessarily where I see myself in the long term, but there is resistance around fully exploring what the alternatives are for you, then what I'm going to share today is going to be relevant for you. So, um, one of the things that I have been reading about recently and that I'm seeing coming up time and time again in conversations is the concept of the sunk cost fallacy. The sunk cost fallacy. And what that basically means is often people will stay on a path, um, and continue working towards a goal because they are concerned about how much time, energy, and resources they've already put in. So, say you are working on a particular building project and you put in a lot of money up front, and there's been problem after problem after problem. Even though you can see that this thing is just not working out, you're going to keep spending money because you don't want to waste the money that you've already spent. But even though you don't want to waste the money you've already spent, you're spending more to keep getting you closer and closer to the goal. Sorry, I've got a cold. Um, and so the same thing can happen when it relates to our careers, where it's like I've invested too much time, I've invested too much energy, I've spent too much of my youth working towards this particular goal. And so I need to keep working towards it. But if the goal is no longer the goal, does that really make sense? And if you spend a lot of time on a path and that path is not feeling like it's aligned with where you are now, or it's not feeling like it's the thing that you actually are excited about doing or that you really want to do, does it make sense to invest more and more years of your life on that path? And so it's really about looking and making a shift around what it means to reset your vision, and what stories are you telling yourself around what it will mean to walk away from a path that you've been on, or to pivot or to redirect. And so when you're thinking about where you want to go next, be mindful of the stories that are coming up for you, or what you're telling yourself around what it means to switch paths, what it means to move in a different direction, and make sure that you're not moving forward just because you don't want to waste what you've already done, but you're actually moving forward with intention, right? Moving forward because that makes the most sense for where you are now, the season that you're in, and what it is you want to bring to the table in your career next. And so when it comes to your vision, the reason why I'm saying like your vision matters and that you should claim it is that you get to redefine your vision at any point. You get to say, okay, that's where I saw myself going, but actually this isn't where I want to go now. I want to go somewhere else. And taking the time to redefine the vision and be clear on where it is you're trying to get to is time well spent, right? And when you're going on your it can feel like you're on the hamster wheel of life and you're just showing up, you're doing your work, you're doing everything that you have to do. Do we actually take time out to slow down enough to assess whether the path that you're on and that you've been on is the path that you need to continue on? And taking that time is really a matter of like is a matter of slowing down to speed up. It's a matter of you making sure that the work that you're doing and how you're showing up actually makes sense for where it is you're trying to get to in the long term. And when you take that time to slow down to speed up, you're able to get the clarity around what is it that you're creating in this season? What are you intentionally trying to build in this season? So that, oh my gosh, my nose is running. So that you're able to move forward with intention. um and so yeah, that's kind of what has been on my mind and what I wanted to share, that if you have a vision for your specific career, like claim it and own it, and know that yes, you are working for organizations, or you may be partnering, or you may be working in your own business, and there may be a vision for what you're moving towards, or a broader vision, but also pay attention to your individual vision. Like, what is it for you in your career that you're trying to build, and is there alignment between the overarching vision that you are a part of and your individual vision for where you want your career to go? Because when you can find that alignment between what it is you specifically want to build through your career and where it is you're trying to build something, that's where the magic happens. So if you're working for an organization or you're building a business that is aligned with the overarching vision for impact and like generally what you want to see happen, and that aligns with how you want to live your life, the lifestyle that you want to have, and how you want to be showing up on a day-to-day basis, when there's alignment, that's often where you find fulfillment. And so that overlap is often what people are seeking when they're looking for making a change, but it's hard to find that if you aren't taking the time to like really take stock. So yes, those are my thoughts around your vision and why it matters and why you need to own it, claim it, and move forward. um, yeah, I love Liana said yes to slow down to speed up. It's so important to just take the time and not feel like you just need to be running like 50 miles an hour, 100 miles an hour, 200 miles an hour, all the time, to the next thing, to the next thing. Like taking the time and recognizing at different seasons of your life, you may feel like there is a need to reset, and that is okay. Like, give yourself permission to reset, and just know that you may be doing a thing for a season and you may be making impact in that season, but that isn't necessarily the thing that you need to be doing forever, for the long term. And there's opportunity for you to leverage what you've already done, what you've already seen, what you've already built in a new direction. And so taking ownership of that and saying like, yeah, I can claim the fact that I see myself differently, or I see what I'm going to build different to what I did before. It's okay to do that. So here's your permission. Here's your permission to do that. Know that your vision matters, claim it, own it, and then see where that takes you. Because when you get clear on what it is you're trying to do, what it is you're trying to create, and you have a clear why behind that, then it's so much easier for you to show up, and the level of conviction that you have is going to increase, and the fuel that you have to keep you going is going to feel different. So rather than it being like, oh, obligation, like, oh, I need to do this thing, or I should be doing this thing, or it's important for me to be doing this, when there's that alignment, like the motivation feels different. Like, what you're driven by feels different because you're clear on what the why is. So when I think about um me running a business and building a coaching and consulting business, when I first started out, there was part of me that like wanted to prove myself, right? That wanted to prove that I can actually do it. So the motivation was like, can I actually like build something that will allow me to leave my full-time job? And that was a big motivator. Like, I want to see if I can do it. But then when you get there and you do it, it starts to feel like, okay, well, what else is fueling me? Like, I've done it now, so then what next? And so when you then tap into like, what is the bigger why behind what it is that I'm doing and what I'm trying to build, then that becomes your motivation. So then it's like, okay, the impact that I want to make, the types of clients that I want to support, the difference that I want to see in the world and be part of, that can be my driving force, because I know that that is why I'm doing this. It's not just having a business for business sake, but it's having a business to have a certain impact. But it took me a while to like slow down enough to really reflect on, why am I even doing this? Like, beyond just, yeah, it's great to have a business, like, why am I doing this? And so I think it's important for us to, like, within our careers, have a clear why. Like, why are you at this organization? Why are you doing what it is that you're doing? Why are you building a career in this space? And that why can then drive you forward. Joanne said, taking ownership of my vision for what I want to do is something I must focus on. Yeah, I think it's so, so important. And it's so, so easy to like overlook it. It's so, so easy to, it's so, so easy to defer it to others, right? Where it's like, if you don't clearly define it, if you don't say what it is, someone else is going to define it for you. If you're not the one to say, okay, here's what I'm doing and here's why I'm doing it, then the default is going to be what someone else sets out, right? Whether that is your organization, whether that's your industry, whether that's your peers, your parents, whoever it is, you could be operating on autopilot if you don't decide to step into the driving seat and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do and here's why. Um, and getting caught up in other people's whys is so easy, particularly now, right? Social media, there's so many influences, there's so much noise, there's so much going on, and different people doing things in different ways, and it's easy to jump on bandwagons. But when we jump on bandwagons, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to make us feel the way that we want to feel. It's not going to make us feel fulfilled, because it might not be your path. It's a path that someone else has set out that you've decided to walk down. But just know that you can redirect and you can go down another road. So that is what I wanted to share around your vision. If you haven't spent the time to create your vision, if you haven't spent the time to reflect on it, redefine it, then now's your invitation to do that. And if you want support with figuring out, like, okay, like, how do I craft this new vision and know which direction I want to go in, then let's have a chat about how I might support you. I've got a program that supports people with getting clarity on their next step in their career, and I work with people uh, through coaching around that too. So reach out if you want some support with that. But yeah, that is really what I wanted to share. I'm going to hop off now, carry on mixing and mingling here at the podcast show in London. Uh, yeah, but thank you. If you have any questions, do post below. I'm going to circle back and check the replay. Thank you for joining live, Liana, Joanne. Nice to see you. And I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care. Bye.